All right, it's your boy coming back at you. Just made a video about Masquerade the Eternal Struggle, used to be called Jihad, and it is still alive. So, thought I'd let people know that, just in case there's any old timers out there like me that have any interest in playing the game again, maybe getting a couple friends into it. The video does have links uh, showing where you can get the cards. So there you go. Uh, okay, this is going to be a short one, and I'm not really sure what I want to talk about. I'm just gluing some weapon swaps on right this second because that's when you 3D print out like 10 guys and they're all in the same pose. The easiest way to break it up is to just do weapon swaps. If you have any spare weapons on plastic sprues, it's not hard, you know. Like this guy came with an axe. Now he's got a mace. Hey, Nerdy Ogre, how are you doing today, sir? Um, Me, I will only be on for a little bit, but you're welcome to join me. My medical transport should be here in about an hour. TMI for some people, I guess. And I gotta go all the way to, across town to talk to my doctor. You know, they do this like every 2 months just to make sure I'm okay and adjust the medications if necessary and stuff like that. Um, if they feel like I've been being a naughty boy. So, got news that the cargo ship containing all of the um, Talislanta Ultimate Edition has landed in California like a week ago, and that they're mailing the books out. So that is exciting. Plus, they sent me the PDFs. That to me is exciting because GR, well met in Lankmar. That is a good story. CG, glad you got your number. Uh, and here's what happened. Since I said at some point I would say, and it's easier to talk than to type, I gave them to someone who said they would drop them off for me and did not. And then, wackiness ensued. You know how it is. So then I got them back. And then I'm all like, okay, I need to get these things dropped off. But as you all know, I'm not allowed to drive. So I had to reschedule another trip. But yeah, they all got sent off. Uh, UPS, they'll be there. A little expensive, but I don't mind. I don't mind. You guys are worth it. So, uh, what ended up happening is I sent a box to Crafting Gamer full of 40K stuff he can work on. I sent a box to Cal Venona full of Japanese soldiers in 28 millimeter, Ashigaru and Samurai. And then I sent a copy of Dragonbane, the box set, to Cody, DM Cody, because Bear asked me to. So I had 3 boxes anyway. So, because I way over ordered on that one somehow. Somehow I backed it at the highest level 3 times. Not sure how, but I did. And
It happens.
so I got a big box with like 3 box sets. I mean, you can barely see those books up there. That's all the collector's edition versions of their books. So they got the like fake leather with the gold writing in them. But I love that game. Just when the vote was cast, my players were all 100% One Ring. They didn't want to play Dragonbane. A couple of them thought was stupid because there's ducks, and I was like, it's not stupid. I mean, it's no more stupid than anything else. But they're like, no, we want to play the One Ring. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can't argue with you. The One Ring is a great game. But after we play the One Ring, we're going to be playing Baptism of Fire. I'm giving you this break, but that game is going to happen. And they're like, okay, So
Sounds like a fair trade.
I'll run One Ring until they all die or get tired of it. And then I'll be able to finally run the game I've been wanting to run for a year or since it came out. But yeah, other than that, man, things are going pretty good. I'm on my third submarine in Subnautica. So I guess that's good, right? I even went into stealth mode, turned my engine off and everything, and was trying to stealth, and 3 glowy things with like lots of eyes and way bigger than my submarine just jumped me, and it was like instant destruction of my submarine. But I managed to get away.
Hello, Cthulhu.
Yeah, it was like, what kind of Reapers are these? Because normally the Reapers got the claws that grab you and stuff. These didn't, but they were just gigantic and glowy and like blue and translucent. And 3 of them showed up, and they would not leave me alone. I turned everything off, lights, everything. And they would go away like they were going to go away and ignore me. And then they'd immediately come back. So I never had a chance to go outside the submarine to repair damage because there was always one of them right there waiting to take a bite out of my ass. So I was just like, asshole. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, that's the thing now.
That's just how it's going to be, I guess. Whatever. But yeah. So 12:30, my ride comes. I'll be rolling out. Also, at some time today, supposedly, I bought kind of a knockoff optic. It's a knockoff of the 3 glowing creatures. Sounds like ghosts, leviathans, and you probably were at the edge of the map. That's when they attack you. Well, yeah, you're probably right, Crafting Gamer. They didn't have claws on the face. They had like a big hammerhead with like 3 eyes, and they were glowy, and it was like, even when they didn't do damage to me, they were pushing my submarine around. So like I never had a chance to get away. And submarines are incredibly expensive in Subnautica to build. They are not easy, but enough of that.
Toys.
I basically ordered a Wish version of a Tragicon ACOG site. And even it was expensive. Like, we're talking 4 C's. You know what I'm saying? But that's better than 17 C's, right? Because an actual Tragicon or whatever optic is $1,700+ for the ACOG. But I got like I said, it's an ACOG, but it's not a name brand ACOG, but it's identical in every way as far as how it works and everything. So ×3 and a lighted chevron and all that. And just for fun, I got an underbarrel laser sight for my pistol, specifically made for the Springfield Hellcat, because it's got like the little, rail underneath, and this thing's like this big, and it just goes underneath the barrel, and you just tighten the screw in, and then if you need it, you just hit the on button, and you got a laser sight. I'm sure it's very close range, though. I mean, But then again, it's just a little 9mm with like a 2-inch barrel too. So, but that's the one I carry the most because I can put it in like I'm wearing jeans. I can put in a pants pocket, and no one would ever know. And I mean, semi-auto with 15 rounds. That'll take care of anything I need to take care of. But what else? Got a bunch of cowboys from Reaper I painted that I just put shade on, which means I'm going to have to go through and do some light highlighting on some parts of them. But
Cowboys versus aliens.
No, Cowboys versus Cthulhu. Deadlands. That's another game we're probably going to run within the next year or two.
I like Deadlands.
Yeah, and you can get all of the freaking original Orange Deadlands books on Amazon for $20 each.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, like the Marshal's Guide and the Player's Guide and the Huckster's Guide and all of them. The Bestiary. What I got is the Player's Guide, the Huckster's Guide, the Marshal's Guide, and the Bestiary, the Varmint book. Because I do not like the Savage Worlds version of Deadlands. I mean, as a matter of fact, when I read Savage Worlds, which I own, you know what my first thought was? That it would make a good skirmish game. Like it, and they even lean into it. In the back of the book I had, they had templates for hand grenades and they had a scenario where like the players all make like army guys and they're fighting Vietnamese people in the jungle. And I mean, it was a straight up war game. And that's what Savage Worlds is. Really, it's just a war game. Oh, private message. Who's private messaging me? Oh, Nerdy Ogre had to go take a poop. Probably not, but if he did, I just outed him, and we can all be like, damn, Nerdy Ogre, stop eating those chorizo burritos, bro. I mean, those things will kill you. For real. I mean, just because I know they're delicious, but, sometimes you just got to show the self-control to avoid those chorizo burritos, because nice chorizo and egg burritos, oh man, doesn't that sound good with some hot sauce? Yeah, that sounds pretty nice, it. But anyway, yeah, I hate leaving the house. I'll be honest with you guys. I absolutely hate leaving the house, which means this will be good for me because it's not good that I hate leaving the house. So, miniatures, I have finally glued this guy on a base. And now I need to put his driver on and the guys that are in here with their spears and whatever. To have one of these in a Greek or Macedonian or Carthaginian or Persian army is 1 point in Saga. So, I mean, if you're playing a big enough game, you could definitely throw a couple of elephants in. As a matter of fact, with my Alexandrian army, I could say no to the spearmen, or not spearmen, the javelin throwers, the peltists, and put an elephant in. So it would be just a bunch of guys with sarissas in a big, broad, multi-rank line, Alexander and his companions on horseback, and an elephant. That would be a very elite army. but it would be cool. The channel or the video I put on my channel, just FYI, guys, was all about Vampire: The Eternal Struggle card game, and the fact that, believe it or not, it's still going. I'm basically repeating the video, but you can buy decks, clan specific decks for the game directly from Drive-Thru RPG. Just go to Drive-Thru Cards and find Black Chantry and pick which decks you like and buy them, and they print them in the US and send them to you. And the card quality is really good. They're like poker card quality, you know. And then put them in sleeves and play them, you know. Just need to get a friend or three that's interested in playing some games of Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, which I've been talking to my cousin about. He keeps saying he's going to do it, but unfortunately, my bro Jonathan is one of the most unreliable human beings on the planet. It's like he will tell you right to your face he's going to do something, and then you won't see him for like 5 months. You know, he'll be like, I'm coming over tomorrow to do whatever. Then you'll never see him for like. And then every time you call him, he's like, I'm at the gym or I'm rock climbing. It's like, well, those are good things. Keep doing them, but damn, unreliable. And that, you know what? I really don't like that in players of any game. You know, you're trying to run a game, whether it's you're putting your war game together, you're trying to get a card game going, you're trying to run a role-playing game, whatever it is, the worst kind of player is the one that is unreliable and you never know if they're actually going to show up. And then almost every time if they're not going to show up, they call day of 30 minutes before the game. And it aggravates some DMs so much that if you miss 3 games, they just kick you out of the game. But I don't want to do that. But man, it aggravates the hell out of me. It's like you get a call and it's 30 minutes before the game, and the person's like, I'm in Daytona at a Ren Fair or something, and you're thinking, you knew you were going to that Ren Fair like a week ago. So you could have let somebody know, right?
Yeah.
So we're not all just sitting here waiting around for you. You know, it's like the unreliable gamer, I think, I think the unreliable gamer might be worse than the rules lawyer gamer. Because at least the rules lawyer gamer shows up. Yeah. So he's got that going for him. You know
I think the rules lawyer kind of gets a bad rep because, you know, the rules lawyer can be useful, but it's just the ones that like take it to an extreme or you know, just only do it whenever it benefits them.
Yeah.
You know? But having a good rules lawyer at your table, the one that like has all the rules memorized.
Yeah, the guy that
can be helpful at the table. You know, it's like the situation comes up and he's like, hey, well, on page 127 under this heading, it says that, you know, these circumstances, you roll this die. Bear's in the green room, I believe.
Yeah, I had I was running a game quite a while back, and I had a rules lawyer in the game, but he was a good rules lawyer, like you're saying. Yeah. It was like I would say something and then I'd be like, damn, how do we do this? And he'd be like, it's like in chapter 7, page whatever. And then I would look and be like, yeah, you know, awesome. Thank you.
But that's not a rules lawyer. That's just a rules expert, right? That's the big difference. The rules lawyer, there's a great, I don't know if you've ever seen these the New Zealand sketch team, and they do this D&D sketches, and they have one episode which is the rules lawyer, where the orc girl says, "I'm going to blah blah blah," and the guy's like, "Excuse me," and then they cut to suddenly they're all dressed like they're in court, and he's got like the barrister's wig on and all that. Does it not say on Player's Handbook, page 71, chapter 4, subline 3? And like it's just like it's really well done because it's exactly what rules lawyers can be, which is a tiresome pain in the ass.
Right. They can absolutely be that. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like those guys are the ones that give rules lawyers a bad rep.
Well, again, I think it's interesting being a rules lawyer and being a rules expert, right? A rules expert
that's what you're
wants to have
saying.
a great game and wants everybody to do well, but they also want the rules to be adhered to. So when there's confusion, well, actually, the rule says blah 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 blah. The rules lawyer, like you said earlier, Nerdy, is the guy that's usually using it to his own benefit or to hinder someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, Lethodus is in the green room.
Lethodus.
You beat me to it.
Well, you did it for me. I have to.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
Leth.
Leth. How you doing?
Doing
This
good.
is not going to be a long stream, guys. I'm my medical transport people are going to be showing up soon.
Okay, well, hopefully you're okay.
That's
Oh,
okay. I got some chores I
Every
should be
2
doing right
months,
about
I
now.
have to go see the pain management doctors and everybody.
So it's just a routine thing?
Yeah. And since I can't drive,
Right.
they have to
Come
send
get you.
a medical transport guy.
Nice. I wish we had that here. It would make my life so much easier, let me tell you. Every time I have a medical thing, I got to bug a buddy of mine to come pick me up and take me over. It's such a pain in the ass.
Well, don't worry. They always make sure that whatever doctor they give me is exactly 49 miles away because it has to be within 50 miles.
Yeah.
So they always make it 49. So it's like an hour there. I sit in the waiting room for 5 minutes. I go in, talk to the doctor. He asks me some questions about my shoulder and neck and everything. I tell him. He re-ups all my meds, and then I wait in the little room. They give me my bag of meds, and I sign for them. And then an hour ride home.
I wish I could get a doctor to re-up my meds.
Well,
All I need is an inhaler, and that's even too much for any doctor, apparently.
for asthma?
Yeah.
I thought you could just buy those over the counter.
Oh,
I
no,
don't
no.
think so, no.
Prescription.
Yeah, they're prescription.
Listen, things have gotten so bad here in Quebec that I don't have a family doctor anymore. And my pharmacist is able to send me for blood tests and adjust my medications now. That's how bad it's gotten.
Well, I mean, they're not really doctors, but I guess close.
Well, they know more about medicine than doctors do, that's for sure.
That's what I was
Holy
going to say. I mean,
shit,
close
the
enough to
pharmacists
government work.
know what's going on. I've literally sat in a doctor's office watching them Google medicines, while they're figuring what they're going to do for me, and they're Googling it and looking into their medical library, and they're like, and they're looking at various drugs. Meanwhile, I go to my pharmacist after I had a kidney stone. She's like, "Why didn't they prescribe you Max Flow?" And I'm like, "I don't know." She goes, "They're supposed to prescribe you when you have a kidney stone." I'm like, "Okay, well, they didn't." I respect pharmacists, man. They have to know a lot. And they
It's like 8 years. I mean, to be an actual pharmacist is like 8 years.
Yeah.
Probably won't be too long till our doctors are like that. Right now, the reason why I wasn't able to get a regular doctor to give me it, I guess he just forgot or something, because he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and then I went out and got nothing. Apparently, like they didn't actually.
Well, you'd have to yell at them and be like, "Hey, wait a minute here."
Well, look, here's an
Not
example.
going back to that doctor anyway, so I'm just like done with them.
Here's how stupid the system is here. Okay, I need to have at least one of my knees replaced due to damage incurred when I was a bouncer and a bodyguard. Right, I got to have one of my knees replaced. They will not do it until I'm after 60. Why? Because a knee replacement lasts on average 10 to 15 years before it has to be replaced. So if they do it before I'm 60, there's an odd they're going to have to do it again, and that's going to cost them money. But if they do it after 60, there's a better chance I'll die before the knee wears out. How sick is that?
Well, I mean, they could just euthanize you.
Well, that's an option. A buddy of mine's mother just she had incurable cancer and untreatable cancer. It went into the blood and the bone, and she made that choice. And you know what? For people that are in that kind of a situation and they want to make that choice as an adult to end their suffering and go out peacefully, that's their choice. The fact that the government has been promoting it to veterans and trying to get mental health added to the list of capable candidates is like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's too much. That's a bridge too far. You know what I mean?
It's like every teen girl that's saying she's going
Exactly.
through something's gonna be
Every
one.
guy who gets dumped by his first girlfriend, you know,
Euthanize. Yeah, no. You know, see, I have mixed feelings about it, obviously, because on the one hand, the libertarian type side of me is like, hey, it's all you do you. But on the other hand, I'm like, suicide is not a good idea. But fortunately, my understanding is that suicide is not a mortal sin in Orthodoxy.
no, it isn't
If the
Catholicism.
person is like really unwell.
No, it isn't Catholicism. There's no wiggle room.
Yeah, yeah. In Roman Catholicism, they're really serious about it. But in Orthodoxy, I believe I could be wrong. Somebody can check me up on this. That if a person is sick, they can't be held accountable for that particular thing.
No, you know, and the more I talk to Orthodox Christians, and the more I talk to Eastern Orthodoxy and Russian Orthodoxy and even Greek Orthodoxy, I find myself more and more and more going, "Oh, humane Catholicism! What a crazy idea! What an amazing idea! Like you have all the respect, all the pomp, all the circumstance, but you're about the people at the end of the day. What a crazy concept! I kind of like that."
Yeah, most people when they actually look into it, say they watch a couple Father Spiridon videos, whether they want to convert or not, they start being like, well, that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more about what you do than worrying about what other people do. Like we don't really necessarily believe in original sin.
Yeah.
Because we don't believe the son should be held accountable for the actions of the father.
Right.
So that's another thing that kind of separates us. Like we never had a purgatory because we believed an unbaptized baby that died was a pure soul and immediately would go to heaven.
Yeah.
Whereas the Roman Catholics thought if you weren't baptized, you couldn't go to heaven.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that the whole basis of the Christian faith?
Well,
The son paying,
I was
the
raised,
son paying for the father's sin.
That's the.
No.
Oh, I'm not talking about the Trinity. I'm talking about if you have kids and you go out axe murdering, your kids should not be responsible.
Yeah, it's the sins of the father mentality, right? Like so, I was raised Anglican, but my mother had us confirmed in the Catholic Church. She went and talked to the Catholic priest, and he agreed to confirm us. Why? Because she was terrified if something happened to us, because the Anglicans wanted us to wait till I think we were 13 or 16 or something. If something happened to one of us, she didn't, you know, she was so worried about us getting into heaven and all that kind of stuff. She wanted us confirmed beforehand. The thing is, the Anglican Church wouldn't recognize the confirmation from the Catholics. You know what I mean? Like, what a stupid thing. Like, what a little bit of, like, petty politics, you know? Like, isn't it the same God, you jokes? You know, like, if I'm confirmed in one, aren't I confirmed in all? If I'm baptized in one, aren't I baptized in all at this point in time? Like, come on, man. Stop your nonsense. Let's all get together.
Well, I don't agree with that, Mr. Anderson. That's not the basis at all. And you would have to talk to a priest if you wanted to know a lot more about it, which I am not. I'm not even a layperson. But no. When I say Father, we're talking on earth. We're not.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Here's what I'm saying. Look, okay. According to the Bible, God created the Garden of Eden, made man, made woman. Boom. Now, one rule. Don't eat this fruit. What did they do?
There were two trees, actually, but that's beside the point.
But then
there were two trees, but there was one rule.
Yes, but God says, once the tree is broken, look, they have eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. We must prevent them from eating from the tree of life before they come like unto us. which
become
is a part
immortal
of
and shit.
which becomes immortal, which is a part of Sumerian mythos that gets carried over because of Abraham bringing it out of Babylonia and all that into the
Which
Middle
is
East.
where he was
That's
from.
that's my
originally.
point.
Yeah.
There was one
So it's not-
rule:
no, there were two
don't
rules.
eat from the tree of knowledge.
No, there's two rules though. You're missing the point. There were two rules. Don't eat either of these trees was the rule. These
But
both
anyway,
they get
regardless
boiled
of
down.
that, what happened is Satan came and convinced Eve to eat the tree,
Right.
and then she convinced Adam.
So does Eastern
Right.
Orthodox
God
believe
sent-
the serpent was Satan?
And now,
Angels down.
all of Adam and Eve's descendants are now paying
That's
for their
original sin.
sins.
But that's original sin.
That's the concept of original sin, which every church don't believe in that.
No, Catholics do, big time.
So not every church believes that
The entire race is
born in
condemned
sin
for
because
having-
Adam and Eve ate of
Yeah.
the tree of knowledge.
No, not every church believes that.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
So
And the first
what you got to
original
do is
church
you
did
want,
not preach that.
you want to have a really fascinating waste of your life that I did. Go start reading all of the various comparisons of Christian, specifically reformist, Christian reform, Protestantism, all the differences between each of the religions, each of the sects, and you start getting into what they disagree on, and you'll see original sin comes up a lot. There's a little bit of the triumvirate comes up a little bit as well, but not as much as you would think, and a whole lot about whether the Bible is a historical document or a guiding document.
That's a big thing. That's where you get the young earth believers.
Yeah.
That comes from Protestantism because they take the average age a human can live and then they added it all up and it's like 6,000 years. So then they say the world's 6,000 years old from Adam through Noah all the way to, because you got to remember, I mean, Adam and Eve, while they might have been the first humans, we're descendants of Noah because the world was completely wrecked. And as a matter of fact, being white people makes us the descendants of Noah's son, Japheth, who was the one who went north and, we're descendants of.
Well, I would suggest that sounds like some Yacubian bullshit, and you gotta stop putting that shit in people's heads, you Yacubian.
It's in the Bible.
Tricknology, man. Tricknology.
That's some tricknology.
It's in the Bible,
about, son.
Well,
poor nerdy. He's like, what did I walk into?
Anderson, the problem is, this is the problem, but it's like, is it a problem? Kinda. Anyone can buy a Bible, and then anyone can translate any single part of that Bible in some weird new way. Yeah. And then if they're charismatic enough, they can start a super church and become a billionaire preaching false doctrines. And it's happened hundreds upon hundreds of times just in America.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the idea of the rapture is based on one line, one sentence. It didn't happen until after like the 16 or 1700s. And Roman Catholics and Orthodox and half the other religions do not believe in it. But it just says there'll come a time when two men will be working in the field and one man will look up and the other will be gone. Okay. Where'd he go? What's that mean? And if you believe in the rapture, then you believe Jesus is returning to earth 3 times, even though the Bible says he will return twice. So you see what I mean? They get caught up in shit. And then you've got a lot of Protestant religions that are non-Trinitarian, which in my view makes them not even Christian religions, but hey, whatever. Because of course the Nicene Creed and the Apostles' Creed, if you know those two creeds, you know the basis of Christianity. But yeah, the issue is anyone can misinterpret stuff. And they do every single day. Someone reads the Bible and they interpret some shit in some way that no one else had ever heard of. And, Might be why Christ is said to have said, boil it down to 2 commandments instead of all the various doctrines. Well, I mean, love thy neighbor as you love thyself and believe in God with all your heart. Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, you guys are talking some deep theology. I'm just saying what I know. Like
Yeah.
babies that die before they're baptized do not go to hell or purgatory.
Yeah.
They go to heaven. They're pure souls.
I agree with that.
If a man is mentally ill and not in control of his thinking and stuff and he kills himself, he does not immediately go to hell. He could go to heaven because he was mentally ill. You know what I mean?
That's why I think really suicides are more of a tragedy unless it's done by somebody else. We probably shouldn't have assisted suicides, and also probably shouldn't have the government, pushing it.
Well, I would
If
be
you
worried.
can't
if
trust the
any
government, who can you trust?
Right. I'd be wary of any government that's trying to push you to actually get euthanized. I'd be like,
Yeah, exactly.
oh, wait a minute here.
Well, you got this
nothing
this
you
part of the
haven't went
government
through
that
an
says we
afterlife.
have an overpopulation problem on this planet, and then you have this part of the government over here saying, "Hey, suicide's okay."
Right.
Bear wants to talk
It's-
about
it's-
Kentucky's haunted stuff.
Yeah, I just threw you guys a video link for a Haunt TV, a 5.5 hour marathon exploring Kentucky's haunting secrets. There you go.
One of them's near where Left lives.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which one?
Yeah.
Hellier?
What was it?
No.
It was it's like some kind of hospital or something that you talked about.
Yeah, it used to be a hospital or
Ah,
an insane asylum or some shit.
Okay, yeah.
And a sanitarium, like back in like 1920s or 30s or some shit.
Weren't sanitariums originally designed for tuberculosis?
I don't know, but they locked a lot of like the really, really crazy people up in them.
Yeah.
And of course, you're bound to have one or two where the people who work there are assholes
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and mistreat the patients. And then voila, you got bad juju there. Hellier is in eastern Kentucky. So it's
love that
near to
first
where
season.
I live, actually.
I didn't like Hellier season 2, and I don't think if they did a third season. But man, I loved that first season. That was so engaging and
It
fascinating.
was. Waverly and Louisville. Also, there's the ghost on the bridge between Lexington and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
She's a young woman, and they say if you drive at midnight across that bridge, you look in your rear view mirror and she'll be sitting in the back seat. She don't hurt you or anything. And then when you get to the other side of the bridge, she'll be gone. It's just one of those like people come up with,
I think my brother went there. I don't know. He might have went to a different haunted bridge, but
My
it
dad
might
went
have been
across
that
the
one.
bridge and he said that he saw it. But I mean, if you convince yourself that a thing is going to happen, your mind, I think, can make it happen.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So. But yeah, supposedly she was hitchhiking and got murdered, or she got thrown off the bridge or something. And she hung
one of
on
these
the bridge.
days, I'm going to save up enough money and I'm going to stay at the Crockett Hotel here in downtown San Antonio.
Uh-oh.
It's reported to be one of the most haunted places in San Antonio.
Yeah, I think you're safe. I don't believe in ghosts. Anyway, listen, gentlemen, I got to take my leave of you because it is my lunch break and I got to go eat. So
Well, see you, Bear.
just want to stop in and say hi and clearly, discuss God and ghosts because, that's what God, ghosts, and goblins. That's going to be my new podcast I'm going to be creating. God, ghosts, and goblins.
There's GM
See you
Cody.
later, Bear.
Good morning, GM Cody. How are you?
Oh, Cody got here. Well, now I can't leave. Shit.
Mm.
Cody's my ride or die, man.
Cody's good people. Everybody loves Cody.
Cody's my bro, man. I will fight alligators to protect Cody.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say a bad word about the guy. There's Squirrel Hermit, another
Another outstanding human being.
Hey, squirrel.
Hey, squirrel, are you watching the camera? Is it going to show up my camera? What the hell's going on with my camera? Hang on. What the hell's going on?
You got
Wow.
the crawl thing up.
Yeah, my camera doesn't seem to want to work. Let me reload. Hang on.
The glaive. It was weird how they called it the glaive, even though it was like a giant throwing star. I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret, GM Cody, but Bear had me send you the box set of Dragonbane. It's in the mail.
Nice.
It should be there next week. Like, I don't know. I sent it UPS, so usually that's pretty quick. Like 3 or 4 days. So,
But in the U.S.
there's
Postal
no
Service.
dice in the box, though. But the good news is it just uses normal dice, so you'll be fine.
I had to wait a few days just for my
There
headset.
we go. Squirrel, thank you so much. This is the biggest goddamn cup I've ever owned in my life.
You could eat
And
soup out of
it is
that.
my water cup. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Squirrel.
Yeah, you could eat soup out of that. Hey,
Oh,
yeah, I also, even though there were no dice in it, but it just uses normal dice anyway, so you'll be fine.
For
I
which
threw in
Dragon
one of
Bane?
the big cloth maps.
Dragonbane.
No, dude. I there's a gift
So
coming
it has
your way,
the paper
DM
map,
James.
but it's got the giant, like 3 foot by 3 foot cloth map of the region. If you use that region, I mean, you don't have
He's
to.
planning to. He's planning to use the campaign and run the 11 adventures from the starter sets. That's
Oh,
great.
yeah, cool.
But I got a gift coming your way as a thank you, DM James. Just be quiet. When it arrives, just smile.
Nah, it's fine. I told Bear he had to pay me back, but he could only pay me in loonies, which would cost him probably more in shipping than the thing
You
cost.
never know what I can pull off, man.
Like nothing but loonies. We were looking at Canadian money last night, and I was jealous. Canadian money is actually kind of awesome looking,
Very colorful.
Yeah, it's colorful, and the coins are all awesome with like birds.
We
and bears.
literally hated the coins when they first came out, and then I went to work in the services industry. I was bartending, and I fell in love with the coins because people would leave them as tips without even thinking.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's going to leave you a twonie,
Toonies are awesome, dude.
a handful of twoonies and a loonie, it's like, okay, that's like, 20% tip there.
So you want to have a little laugh?
like Canadian coins.
So we had the loonie first, which was called the loonie because it has the loon on the back of it, right?
Right.
So loon. When the $2 coin was coming out, there were 2 names competing for it. Toonie, which everyone pretty much was like, this is a stupid name, and Doubloon, but spelled Loon. And we were all like, that's an awesome name. And everyone just adopted Toonie because it was cuter. It was
Doubloon.
Doubloon was way cooler. It's a double loon. I love that,
The only Canadian coins I think I have are like nickels that got like a beaver on them or something.
Yep. And our dimes, our quarters have a caribou. Our dimes have the blue nose schooner. And our pennies, which no longer exist, used to have maple leafs.
I had some foreign coins. I wonder what happened to them.
They emigrated.
Yeah,
Buried in the jar somewhere.
they're buried somewhere. I don't know where.
Not to worry, the mustache is returning. Oh man, the power of the mustache. Just if you're going to grow it out, go all the way down. Don't go just to here, because you don't want the Freddie Mercury mustache.
No.
You want the firefighter mustache.
You want the Hulk Hogan. You don't want the Freddie Mercury. You want the
Yeah,
Hogan.
you don't go with
Listen,
Freddie.
brother, when you got the
Hey,
full mustache,
Ricardo,
brother,
long time
people
no
know what
see. How
side
you
you're
doing?
on. Anyway, okay, I do have to go. Take care, guys. Bye.
Hey,
See ya. Go for a
Hey,
$15.
dollar's a dollar. If she don't like a Sacagawea, then that's her problem.
A dollar's a dollar.
When they really get mad when you try to swipe your credit card. That's when they really get mad. You walk up on them and be like, nah. I don't know much about it because I hate strip clubs. I've been to like 2 of them in my whole life, and I was just embarrassed for them the whole time.
I never
I
been to
think,
one.
you know what? It's like it's not a bunch of tens hanging out in there naked. It's a bunch of like that's why the lighting in strip clubs is the way it is to try and hide all the C-section scars and the fact that half of them are on heroin or crack. I mean, it's like really it's just miserable. Yeah, overpriced drinks and low lights so you can't see how ugly the dancers actually are. Because I mean, you look at their butt, you look at their boobs, and you're all like, oh, nice. But then if you really got a good look, you'd be like, ugh, I don't want any part of that. Plus, they probably all got AIDS anyway. Herpes symphigonal AIDS, they got it all. So, yeah, things are good there. Good to hear, Ducato. I'm glad. I am glad. I survived Florida trying to kill me a couple times. Then I went to visit my property up in Kentucky and my mom and had a good time there. And now I'm back down here, and the show is actually going to end in about 20 minutes when my ride gets here to drive me literally across the whole city to a doctor, because that's how they do.
Yeah.
It only takes you 20 minutes to go across the whole city?
No, he's going to be here in 20 minutes. It takes an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go to the strip club. I just wasn't born a saint. You were born a saint, and then when you achieve the age of rational thought, your choices have determined where you are now. But the good news is, with a little bit of work and repentance and stuff like that, you could be a saint again. I mean, you know, like Orthodox saints don't have to do miracles. They just have to be really, really good people that everyone respects and thinks is really good. And, you know, basically they just have to be icons of the faith.
Which is what I think they should be. I don't know. It seems like the Catholic Church likes to deify some people.
Well, I mean, you know, we all do what we do. Anderson, don't be sore about it. I mean, we're having casual conversation. Exemplify virtue. Yep, that's it. You just have to exemplify virtue. But you don't have to actually raise someone from the dead or bleed out of your eyeballs or something. I got shoes on, so I'm not happy because I hate shoes. I'd go with my Doc Martens. I've got my old, when they were still made in England, Doc Martens. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're 8-hole Doc Martens.
So what I'm hearing is your wife dressed you before she left.
My wife works from home. She's got office.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, when COVID happened, they sent everyone home, and then they realized how much money they were saving by sending everyone home, so they just left them there.
Yeah, that's that's the company my wife works for. She got hired when they hired her on. When they hired her on, they were in the process of shutting down their home office, or they were shutting down their home office, which was this big, huge building, and they were bringing it down to a smaller size. So they just got like one little office. You know, they were downsizing because, you know, screw it, we're saving money having everybody work from home. We'll just have them work from home.
George, it's actually the opposite. Orthodoxy, it's easier to be a saint in Orthodoxy than it is in Roman Catholicism. Because in Roman Catholicism, you have to do 3 miracles. In Orthodoxy, you just have to be a paragon of the faith. But you don't have to do any miracles. So, like, you know, it's actually kind of easier.
Yeah, I think the miracles are easier than being a paragon of the faith.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
offense.
they're picky about it. I agree with you. They're picky about it. But what were we talking? You were talking about something.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
being a paragon of the faith. That you're not wrong, Dirksen.
I find it weird though. As soon as I came on here, you stopped talking about D&D.
Did we stop talking about D&D?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I just find that weird.
I wasn't even talking about D&D. I was talking about role players.
Yeah, role players mainly.
Players.
But, you know,
We're
ones
talking
that
about rule
annoy me
lawyers.
the most. And number one on my list of annoying players is the unreliable player.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy that says he'll be there and then either doesn't show up, or if he does, he shows up 2 hours late.
we've
And
been
it's
having
like-
trouble with that.
It's like, to me, it's like if you wanted to play the game and you agreed to play the game, and there's 7, 8 other people waiting to play the game, and you're just like, I'll blow this off for whatever. It's like you're kind of being very discourteous to all the other players.
Or you know, something comes up and you just don't tell anybody at all.
Well, okay, if it's something big,
I get
obviously
something
they get
big, but
facts, you know?
at least tell people that you might not make it or you can't make it.
Yeah, don't
If
wait
you can.
until 15 minutes before the game to send a text that you're not going to be there. That is
Sometimes I wish that too,
because
because sometimes people in our group would say, "We'll be there," and then time after we even messaged them a couple of times, nothing.
yeah, we got a player that misses games occasionally, and he'll send text and be like, "I'm at the Ren Fair. I'm doing this. I'm doing that," and I'm all like, "If he wasn't one of my best friends, man, I'd be so mad." Because it's like, dude, you know we play this time, this day. So why are you planning other events on the same time and day? Because I know for a fact that Ren Fair was open on Saturday too, and that you're off on Saturday. So if you wanted to take your wife to freaking the Ren Fair, you could have done it on Saturday, but you did it on the game day. And it's like, I don't know if there's some weird kind of like whether she's like trying to make him choose or what the hell's going on. But yeah, unreliable players are the worst. 3 bean chili. We cooked chili a couple days ago, Squirrel, and I don't know how many beans. It was a lot.
We had fried chicken yesterday.
We put pinto beans and black beans and dark red beans and light red beans and kidney beans. And then
Fried chicken. Really good fried chicken too.
Yeah. We had fried chicken last week, but it was from Publix.
Home fried. Also, we had like biscuits. I put mine and made a sandwich with it and some pickles in the sandwich with the biscuit.
Nice. So basically, you were making a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, the guy that shows up every week and is like withdrawn and don't want to do shit, I'll find a way to make sure he gets involved. So, see that guy you can at least work with a little bit. I mean, because at least he's there. At least he had the courtesy to show up. And it's like if you're the kind of person that's sitting there and you're like, well, I'm not sure if I actually can show up and play the game, then just say that. And then nobody will worry about you. And you can, go on about your merry way and whatever. Right? You can visit during the week and we can play cards or something, but, or board games. But, agreeing to join a campaign and then not showing up is, to quote Bubba, it's just freaking rude. And it's very thoughtless because other people made time out of their day to show up to play a game. So why couldn't you? What makes you so much more special especially since this game night, whatever, it's not new. It's been going on literally for 10 years now. So no one's surprised. You can't be like, oh, I didn't know, because like, dude, it's been going a decade. This time, this day, for a decade. Usually a DM, it's nice to get well, yeah, that went on for the last 6 months. One of my bros that I play with ran Vampire, and again, because he ran it a couple of years ago, and he just let us pick up where we started off with the same characters. And when he gets done with what he's got to do, he's going to run it again, and it'll be the same characters. So yeah, I agree with you, Anderson. I do not like when players show up mentally enhanced, alcohol or drugs, because it's like, I don't know. I feel like you should probably be 100% in control of your mental faculties.
Yeah, it never
If you're
goes
gonna
out.
play role-playing games. But the rules lawyer depends. The guy who takes 10 minutes, you know what I do to that with that guy in OSC? When I get to him, I say, it's your turn. And he's like, well, hold on a second. I start counting down the Jeopardy song in my head. The dun 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 dun. I don't do it out loud. I do it in my head. Dun 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 dun. And when I get to the end, I skip his ass and I go to the next guy. And if he's got a complaint about, I tell him, look, man, you took too long. Your character was standing there indecisive, and it's not like time freezes while you look through your book. The game, the battle is still going on, and you were just standing there with a thumb in your ass. Maybe you figure it out next time. Because, I mean, I played OSC when I ran it with like 8 to 10 players. So if you're the mage, you literally have 7 other players going, before you got to. So how can you not know what you're doing? Because if each player is quick and only takes a minute or two, that's still 14 minutes that you had to freaking to figure out what spell you wanted to do. So freaking lame. Well, if I'm playing a drunken dwarf 24 hours, you can role play the drunken dwarf, but you don't need to be freaking lit to do it.
Hammered.
Now, I'm not saying if the ladies break out a glass of wine or somebody wants to have a beer, I would freak out.
No, it's if you get drunk.
If they're slobbery drunk or they're just high as hell, then yeah. It's like you're just effing up the whole game, man. There's no need for that. And there you go, Yeah, I mean, like I said, 1 or 2 beers to relax, but you're still, I mean, I can drink 6 shots of vodka and not even feel it. You know what I mean? I can drink 2 or 3 Yingling and be as sober as a freaking priest. So I'm not counting that. I'm talking about someone who's so freaking lit up that they're just like,
they're out of it.
Nah,
I barely can stand up.
Use an hourglass. See, I don't use an hourglass. I don't even let them know.
Don't need it.
Like I said, I count the time in my head. I don't let them know. And when the time in my head is up, it's like, you froze, your go. And I'll tell you what, you do that a couple of times and it straightens out all the players. Everybody at the table all of a sudden is like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Better know what you're doing. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, do something. Anything.
I do something.
If you're a mage and you're stalling on which spell to cast, chuck a dart. You know, just anything. Anything is better than nothing. You know,
When in doubt, fireball.
yeah, the worst answer to every question in life is doing nothing. It's always better to do something. So, you know, take initiative, freaking run out there, do something, you know, cheerlead the player characters, whatever you got to do. You know, don't just stand there like a lump, because that's just freaking lame.
Attack the darkness.
Classes.
I attack the darkness.
Cast magic missile, yeah. Attack the darkness, exactly. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about that in the One Ring game when I run it, because there are no mages.
Yeah.
So it's Tolkien's world, and there are no magic users. I mean, even MERPs had magic users, kind of. Well, no, they were magic users, but One Ring does not.
So no Gandalf the Grey.
There is a Gandalf the Grey. But
I mean,
Gandalf
for
the Grey
players.
isn't a human. Gandalf the Grey was sent down from heaven to try to guide humanity into like righteousness.
I'm just saying no Gandalf the Grey for players.
Oh no player is going to be able to play a Maya, you know, a heavenly being. No. Should I play a magic user this evening or a magic user thief? You're playing OSC? Bubba, I can't answer that question unless I know what game you're playing. So
Go thief, steal everything. Win. Or you could be like that one guy.
Dragon Slayer. Well, obviously, if you're going to play the Dragon Slayer game, Bubba, it's pretty obvious you want to play a knight.
Yeah, true.
That would be my opinion. You want to play a knight. You want to be as good as you can with swords, and you want to wear plate mail and have a shield. But that's just me. That's just what I would do. And I almost always play a heavy fighter anyway.
But what if I want to play a thief? That's not that kind of thief.
Well, I mean, you can do because it's a skill-based game. Technically, you can do just about anything you want.
I know. But I found it funny because there was a story where this one guy was talking about his group, and this one guy he usually said was really good played a thief, but they don't know what kind of thief it was because everything that you would associate as a thief, he just didn't do. It's like, hey, why don't you go steal that thing, or go pickpocket? No, I can't do that. I don't know how.
Yeah,
Not
I
that kind
mean,
of thief.
anytime I play any kind of D&D type based fantasy game, whatever, whether it's RuneQuest or Rollmaster or whatever, I'm going to play a human fighter. I'm going to wear the best armor I can possibly afford. I'm going to carry a shield and a sword and a helmet if it's an option.
I think one of my next characters is going to be like a dwarf fighter.
I am a sword and board MFer, guys. That is what I like. When I was in the SCA, I was a sword and board guy. And when I play role-playing games, I'm a sword and board guy. I just think it's the best way to go.
Yeah,
you
fair.
know?
It's
You don't get
very
hit
useful.
as much. You can deal out the damage. You can be, the strong dude in the front lines whipping people's asses.
Heck, my known blacksmith is going to be using an axe and shield.
The problem with pole arms is you can't carry a shield.
Yeah.
And I want that shield, baby. Yeah, see, if I played a cleric, guess what? He'd wear the heaviest armor I could buy. I'd have a shield, and I'd have a mace.
But pole arms are also
if
good
we were
in their
playing
own
a
right.
game where you could play with the weapon of your deity, I would probably pick Heronius as my deity, be lawful good, and use a longsword alongside my shield and my probably scale or banded armor.
Oh.
And mace. So I'd start the game at level 1 with like an armor class of 17 or 18. So yeah, I'd be ready to step in there. Yeah, that's the thing. Having long ass weapons like that are just going to be next to useless in a lot of dungeons.
That's true. I would
And
say
if the enemy runs up close to you, you're not going to be able to hit him.
always keep a backup sword if you're going to go polearm.
Right. Because if you've got a 13-foot pike and the enemy runs up on you, what are you going to do? Try to hit him with the half of that pike? Like he's going to give a shit about that. You're not going to be able to get enough, leverage behind that pike to do anything. Meanwhile, he's gutting you with this freaking stabby sword. So yeah. The only reason to ever use pikes and shit like that is if you've got like 100 men and they're all armed with them and they're all marching in formation or standing in a shield wall or something.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, with the polearm, I suppose you could use a buckler because you don't actually use your hand with those. You just strap them on.
Strap in.
But no, it does good damage and it's got reach, but it's just not really worth it. Again, if monsters base to base on you, you can't even attack them with the thing.
Again, probably why I'd rather have an axe. I like axes.
Well, I mean, the axe makes a statement. It says, I'm going to cleave you apart.
It's better against shields, and you can actually, if one thing, you can actually hook an axe onto a shield and pull it down on them.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. In the SCA, that's what people who use axes do. They're more like support fighters because they pull the enemy's shield down and then the guys with the sword smack the shit out of it.
That's what my Heronius cleric is, basically. He's a support fighter.
Right. Support fighters are great. The guy that's there to do whatever needs to be done to make the main fighter even better. I mean, that's a great guy. The guy that's got the other guys, flank and is watching out.
But the problem with that, but the problem with that in a role playing game is you have to take into effect the player ego, because majority of the players, they want to be the one. They want to get that killing shot in. They want to be
the type of player
they want to be the hero. They
right?
don't want to. Most players don't want to be support.
You can be a hero and a
brought up
support.
the other annoying player that wasn't on the list, and that's the player with the main character syndrome.
Yeah, it's not a single player game. You have to work with your friends and tackle.
It's like actual warfare.
Each other.
It takes teamwork to make the dream work.
Yeah,
Right.
If you're going to be out there, and I've killed so many players. Bubba knows one of them because they split the party by themselves and decided to go wandering around alone at low level in a fantasy world and got ate by a troll, but they didn't know it was a troll that ate them. And then their party found the boot and it still had a foot in it, but they never found any other part of him.
It's like you can have 1,000 of the best warriors in the world. Ain't gonna get squat done if they don't have a good company clerk to keep them supplied and food and ammunition and just
Well,
supplies.
obviously, in any world where clerics exist, and clerk, you're saying logistics, yeah. You're going to need logistics. You're going to need wagons full of food, unless you're trying to have your army just scavenge along the way. And I mean, that might work for a while, but if it don't work, then your army's not eating, and that's not a good thing either.
this is why I like magic systems that allow with weird, useful, more utilitarian type of spells and magic.
In One Ring, a number of the characters during a quest are designated like as scouts, and their whole job is to look out for ambushes and kill any game that they encounter during the day's travel. Oh, that's the phone letting me know the guy is here. So
Okay, well, see
I
ya.
will catch you
See you
later.
later.
Hey, we need to talk more about players in the future, but
Yeah.
catch you later.